Good evening, everyone. Muy buenas noches a todos. My name is José Calderón, co-host of Que Viva La Música on WFDU 89.1 FM and the Mambo Machine on WKCR 89.9 FM in New York. Welcome to Conversaciones Música, hosted and presented by Hostos Center for the Arts and Culture. We truly are blessed this opportunity to share this evening with Miss Vicki Solá, the undisputed queen of radio for the last 4 decades, known throughout the tri-state area and across the globe, helping to perpetuate the music of the greats and so many others, as well as providing a platform for the countless talented, underrated veterans and upcoming artists alike to present their products publicly. Before we begin, we'll talk about Hostos, an integral part of Hostos Community College of the City University of New York since 1982. The Hostos Center for the Arts and Culture is a resource for students and faculty and serves the cultural needs of South Bronx residents and neighboring communities. The Hostos Center for the Arts and Culture is recognized nationally as a leader in Latino and African-based programming and is dedicated to the development of emerging artists and the creation of new work. Hostos Center events are sponsored by the Hostos Community College Foundation with funds from the National Endowment for the Arts, the New York City Department of Cultural Affairs in partnership with the City Council, the Coalition of Theaters of Color, the New York State Council on the Arts with the support of Governor Andrew M. Cuomo and the New York State Legislature, the Howard Gilman Foundation, the New York State Office of Parks, Recreation, and Historic Preservation, the Office of New York State Assemblyman Jose Rivera, and the Office of New York City Council member Rafael Salamanca Jr. Visit the Hostos Center website at www.hostoscenter.org to learn more and to view upcoming online events. Let me take this opportunity to acknowledge my love and respect to all the women of the world in all their capacities, especially to those who profess their interest, drive, and talent in the arts and entertainment. Quote, "We need women who are so strong they can be gentle, so educated they can be humble, so fierce they can be compassionate, so passionate they can be rational, and so disciplined they can be free," stated by Kavita Ramdas. Many overcome the inequalities. I grew up admiring many of the top women of entertainment, such as Celia Cruz, Lupe, Graciela, Olga Guillot, Blanca Rosa Gil, Carmen Delia Di Pinito, to name just a few. But at home, I had 2 pillars of strength that raised me single-handedly into a man of gratitude and with a strong sense of culture and responsibility. I'd like to respectfully acknowledge them in this opportunity and express my deepest and eternal gratitude. My grandmother, Victoria Armenteros, and my mother, Yolanda Calderón Armenteros. Well, speaking of admiring strong women, today I have the most incredible good fortune of presenting and highlighting a pillar of our community with a tireless effort and a heart of gold. Over the years, she has demonstrated to the world she is a consummate professional and a relentless advocate for Latin music and the artists who create it. There is no dispute she is one of the hardest working and most influential people in the salsa industry. Dividing her time between hosting one of the longest running radio programs in New York City, Que Viva La Música, she has also been the master of ceremonies of many unforgettable events between extremely popular dance venues and concert hall extravaganzas. Adding to her resume of accomplishments is being an author of science fiction fantasy novels, a childhood passion brought to fruition. Being the recipient of many prominent and well-deserved awards throughout her career, she has served as an advisor to the Smithsonian and published articles appearing in internationally circulated periodicals. I am beyond elated to have this platform to present and recognize the contributions of this wonderful colleague and dearest friend. We will watch a short video presenting her, but please warmly welcome the Queen of Radio, Miss Vicki Solá.
To Latin jazz alive and kicking, and ritmo tropical. If you're wondering why I'm screaming so loud, it's because we're live here at the Maganet. But I have the one and only, she's all mine, Vicki Solá. Vicki, how are you, my love?
Hi, how are you? It's great to be here before your audience. And I'd like to congratulate you and Steve for this fabulous show. You guys are cultural warriors.
Thank you so much. Vicki, tell us what's going on here tonight at the Maganet.
Well, I just happen to have a copy of Andrea Brackfeld and Son Charanga's new CD, and it's called Back with Sweet Passion. We're having a record release party here for Andrea. It is a fabulous party. Everybody from Latin Cool Records is here, and a lot of dignitaries, people in the business.
Okay, thank you. Vicki, there's so many things that you do with music, and I want to thank you so much for keeping our music alive. What else can you say to our viewers very briefly?
Briefly, my program is Que Viva La Música, inspired by Ray Barretto, and it's on every Saturday from 12 to 4 on 89.1. That's WFDU FM in stereo. And we're also audio stream worldwide, WFDU.FM.
Thank you so much, Vicki, for giving me this time for my wonderful audience, because I want to tell my audience, thank you so much for tuning into Latin Jazz Alive and Kicking and Ritmo Tropical. This is Vicki Solá coming to you live from La Maganet. Thank you, Vicki.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Vicki Solá.
Good evening, Jose.
Good evening, Vicki. Welcome, 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 and thank you for joining us. Vicki, I have to start by saying I love you. That's the first thing I have to say.
I love you, Jose. I love you so much. And at the outset here, I would like to thank Hostos. I would like to thank John McElwee. I would like to thank Greg Brown. I would like to thank Felix Arrocho, and of course you. And I have to say, in that clip that I watched, I was like, why are you shouting, girl? But when you are at a club, and you know this from all the emceeing and the work that you do, it's very loud, so you have to shout. But in retrospect, I'm like, yeah, why are you shouting, girl?
Because
you really need a touch up.
No. It was great. It was great because you know what? You were living the moment. And many of us want to know a lot of you, of who you are and what makes you such a wonderful person. Let's start off by talking about, growing up, tell us a little bit about your family, your parents. Give us that scoop.
Okay, that's assuming I have grown up. I mean, something. I was born to my beautiful parents, Dr. Salvador Felix Solá. I actually pronounced my name wrong too. There is an accent on the A. Solá means from out of the sun. That's what my father told me. It's not alone Sola, it's Sola. So I have to, I am guilty. My father told me my name is Sola y Sola de Lopez Rodriguez Grillo Jimenez.
Wow.
That's my full name. Then I guess you add a blank from my mother's maiden name. But anyway, my father came here from Puerto Rico when he was 5 years old. My family was from Santurce and Caguas. He came here to Washington Heights. He was very sickly as a child in those days. Influenza was going around. It was 1920 that he came here. He was, I guess, in the earliest wave of Puerto Ricans. The Jones Act conferred citizenship in 1917. As a child, he was very sick, and they called the priests to give him last rites. Fortunately, he survived. During those couple of years that he was bedridden, he decided he wanted to be a doctor. He did a lot of reading, and he did go on to graduate from DeWitt Clinton High School in the Bronx. When he went to Columbia University. Well, in short, he became a doctor, and I'm very proud of him. For so many reasons, he had such compassion for his patients. He was really spiritual and ahead of his time with the way he approached medicine and his patients. Sometimes we thought maybe he got too deeply involved emotionally, but that's who he was. I'm also proud of the fact that he took an anatomy test, an exam, when he was, in medical school. It was 2 countries, the United States and Canada. He scored second highest score. So I'm very proud of him. He went on to be second deputy, I believe, at Lincoln Hospital in the Bronx. That's where he was when I was born. And, he had an illustrious career, which culminated in being the director of the long-term care facility at Bergen Pines, as it was known then, the county hospital. And there he just, for 9 years until the end of his life, he just combined spirituality, compassion, and the best of medicine to serve his patients and his community. Now, my mother, Hedda, is the daughter of a Norwegian lady, Marie Olsen. I tried to find them on, Ellis Island records, and there's too many Olsens, it's like Smith. But anyway, she was a photographer. She came here in, around when they were blowing up ships in the Atlantic before World War I. They told my grandmother, "You will be a maid if you come to America." She said nonsense, and she went on to be a photographer and work at Underwood and Underwood. And that's where she met my grandfather, Samuel Blank, who was a Russian Jew. And my mother and I would joke because she was his supervisor. They got married and she was his supervisor forever on. But my mother had, a life grounded in the arts. She became a pianist. She attended Juilliard, I think in the same time period that Tito Puente did. And she gave concerts, she taught. She was also a brilliant artist. She exhibited oil paintings at the Art Expo in New York City. So those are the people that, I come from.
Well, it's wonderful to hear that they've influenced you musically, especially your mom. And you mentioned someone very important, Tito Puente. Can you just tell us a little bit about, how Tito Puente has influenced you? I know I'm jumping the gun here, but there's a reason for that.
I'm sure. Ray Barreto, who was like my other dad, he was always there for me. Ray introduced me to Tito, I believe at Club Broadway 96. Mm-hmm. And Tito looked like he walked out of the album cover El Rey. That's how he looked. And, just knowing him was just such a pleasure. He and Ray both were they meant so much to me on a personal level. I think one of my proudest moments was at the radio station one time when Tito was there. He said to me, "I'm very proud of you. You did it. I always knew you could do it." And that just, I carried that with me. And also once, I think it was September of 1999. And it was one of the last times I saw Tito. I emceed him at SOB's. And we were downstairs in the basement, and, I would send him birthday cards and little pictures of my son and stories. And he said to me, "Vicki, thank you so much for those cards and the stories about your son and, the photographs." And he said to me twice, he said, we're family. And that just, I carry that with me. I just loved him so very much. And still do. I feel like when we're doing our show, I know his spirit is with us as well as Ray Barreto's spirit.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, speaking of their spirit and the love of family, someone reached out to me this afternoon and they said they had to be present in honoring you in this moment. And I'd like them, if they could please unmute and start their video to show their presence. And that's one of our surprises this evening.
So I shall unmute. I shall mute then while we do that.
No, you stay there. We're there, but they're going to unmute and start their video so they could join us. Mm-hmm. It's Ronnie Puente.
Otherwise known as Tito Puente Jr. I'm not even going to start why his name is up there, but he's here in spirit. I love him, as you know. He's my main man. But it's not about me. It's not about my family. It's about you, Vicki. I was fortunate enough to see that this was going to happen this evening. And I really wasn't sure exactly what it was going to be. but I just wanted to reach out to Jose today and just tell him, if I could, just say a few words about you, what you mean to me, and to my father's musical legacy. You are, without a doubt, the queen in many ways than one. Before I continue, I'd just like to have a question for Jose. How did you steal my speech for Vicki? I wrote that speech 2 days ago, and word for word, you stole it. I'll take care of you when I see you at the radio station.
I have to call in the plagiarism committee.
I'm telling you, it's rampant. It's rampant. For you folks, what goes on in that station, you don't want to know. Forget the music. The real show is when the music is playing and we're discussing the theory of relativity and all really intelligent stuff. You wouldn't believe what goes on there, folks.
Ronnie, E equals MC square.
Basically, yes, exactly. I mean, with the King Louis throwing in his brilliant repartee about Einstein and the beautiful Marisol with her. I see, is that her picture up there? Well, I'm going to leave her alone for now. And I see, Pulpo, you're here too, brother. I see you're here. In any event, I'm digressing here. Vicki, short and sweet, you are the epitome of class. Me, as well as my family, and you know this, we appreciate everything you do. Many people, I mean, you guys know, I'm still surprised how my dad, he's passed 20 years now, and it's like it's 20 minutes. And it's people like you, your team at the station, and his many fans that keep his music and his spirit alive. And I sincerely thank you. I will always thank you for what you do, what you continue to do, what you've done. And my dad, we spoke about you, not often, but the times that we did was always good. And I can tell you, Vicki, he always spoke highly of you. And if you know my pop, he didn't speak too highly about anybody. But anyway, you are one of those, absolutely. And he meant every word of it, and as well as I do. And I hope we continue to do our twice a year shows. I'm looking forward to coming back to the station live with Marisol and the rest of the crew this coming May, hopefully. If not, we'll do something else like we did this past November, which was excellent. I think Jose and you all produced a beautiful show honoring my dad. And I thank you, Vicki, from the bottom of my heart. And thank you, Jose, for letting me say these kind words, or few words, I should say. I do appreciate it. Vicki, you're the best, and we love you.
Thank you. I love you. My love to Joan. Please give my love to Margie and to Audrey and to your brother, Junior. I'm honored. It's my pleasure. Thank you for being part of our family too. You're part of the Que Viva La Música family and WFDU. And again, we're just so honored by that. You're
back at you. If anyone's being honored, it's me. You know, I appreciate coming up there.
We all love you, Ronnie.
Okay, thank you for the few moments. I got to run, but continued success. I'll see you all real soon. God bless you all and stay safe.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye, guy. You like that, Vicki? A little surprise for you?
I love that. You know, again, I feel that Tito's spirit is always with us, and I made a vow when he passed, we were going to honor him and play his music after our Ray Barreto Que Viva La Música theme every week, and we do that. It's just a pleasure and honor to have Ronnie come on twice a year and host the music. There's such, I mean, Tito was so versatile. We could play his music forever and not get to all of it and all of the different styles.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, we're going to take a break and we're going to go to a video of you, Vicki. Remember the good old times.
Am I shouting in this one?
You're in this one. You're in, and you're not screaming. You're speaking and addressing yourself to everyone. Let's go to back in time to the Maganette with Vicki Solá and a surprise guest.
All right, that's more like it. We're ready, right, guys? We're ready to bring you part two. The one and only Frankie Vasquez, my idol, and Los Soneros del Barrio. You're my idol too, of course. And here at La Maginette, you know, we have New York's best dancers every Wednesday. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We want to remind you, Niños del Barrio.
Well, we're back from memory lane, Vicki.
You know something? That clip made me emotional.
I know.
Maginette, I was blessed. Tony Rodriguez, may he rest in peace. And also Barbara, who passed away, two people that are family to me. Wow. You know something? I was blessed to be there for 6.5 years, every Wednesday and some Sundays. Barbara told me that after Tony's passing in September 24th, 1999, as a matter of fact, that Tony had always wanted to bring me there, you know, to be the weekly MC. I think he was impressed once when I was emceeing for him and somebody said something. And what did I say? I said, you know, I'll let you have your First Amendment freedom of speech, but if anything happens to you, I'll take the fifth. You like my Julia Child imitations from the stage too. But so Barbara decided to, you know, honor Tony's wish, and she brought me in every week. I've always tried to help the New York musicians. We have such treasure in the New York tri-state area. The Magonette, I used to stand there and watch the musicians, and I used to say, one day this is not going to be here anymore. I couldn't believe that that might happen. Sadly, it happened, but we had some of the best jams there. It was an amazing place. New York's best dancers too. Ray Barretto used to call me up a lot. He'd say, when does Fajardo play? And I'd say, Ray, it's always the last Wednesday of the month. So he would come down and check out Fajardo. And he told me, he said, I recognize so many faces from the Palladium here.
Absolutely.
Wonderful, wonderful place. And when the place was going to be sold, I came down the stairs. I have to send my love to Howie and Evelyn up there in the sky too. You know, Howie was the mayor of the Magonette. I came down to work one night and Howie said to me, they're selling the place. I'm like, you're kidding. And you know, Howie was always joking. I didn't believe it, but he was telling me the truth.
I know.
And gosh, it was just, I mean, everybody who was someone was there. Many debuts and record release parties. It was just part of my life.
A very important one. A very important one. Vicki, tell us a little bit about your affiliation with WFDU and how you had your first opportunity on the radio.
Okay, well, you know, I used to be a very shy person. I know that's hard for you to believe. But when I was a little kid, if my mother had company over, I'd hide under the table. I wouldn't come out for a half hour. Now I come out after 15 minutes. You know, I was always shy. I went back, you know, I was at Fairleigh Dickinson University for 2 years full time, and then I had to leave. Then I came back part time, and I got this card in the mail. Are you interested in broadcasting? On a lark, I filled it out. And, you know, I got the date to come to a big meeting. It was in Beckton Hall. There was like 200 people there. I'm like, I'll never get a show. Sure enough, I went in to do a test, put on the headphones, got before the microphone. Carl Krause, who was the general manager and also in charge of telecommunications at the university. Carl had me read something or other. He recorded me. He said to me in that radio voice, I think we could use you. And then I was baptized. I used to go there at night to practice, to learn how to do the board. And one day somebody didn't show up. I was doing jazz. They had just started jazz in place of European classical music. So this person didn't show up. I think it was a Tuesday. I'm not sure. They said, you're going on. I was like, what? Wait. You know, I used to bring my own records from home. I had a great jazz collection. So I went on the air. I put the headphones on. When I heard my voice in the headphones, somehow I wasn't nervous. And the secret is I loved what I was doing more than, you know, my worry about people hearing me or, you know, my shyness. It's when your passion for something overtakes, you know, your worry about yourself. I think that's when you have something.
Absolutely. So your first time on the air, your first official time, do you remember the date? Can you recall? To set the record straight, especially on the years that you've been on.
Yeah, you know, I'm not always straight on these, but I started practicing at the station in August of 1981. Then it was shortly after that I was baptized. I was going to the station. I was doing news, but, you know, I didn't expect to be put on to do a full show. It was from 1 o'clock till 3:45. Different than just, you know, a 5-minute newscast that we were doing. So it was a challenge, but, you know, I grew to love it. And I started planning shows. I started planning shows. I did specials on Lee Morgan, Freddie Hubbard, and, you know, artists like that I loved. I gravitated more toward bebop and traditional jazz. I became jazz director too. And then I started slipping in, well, I was careful at first. I put in Tito Puente, I put in Cal Tjader, and then I just got crazy. I started putting in Willie Rosario, Ricardo Salsa, Tito Puente's Mambo, and I just started throwing everything in there that I loved. And finally I said to my boss, and I have to thank Carl Krause and also Duff Sheffield, they, you know, gave me the opportunity. They were always there for me. Some people may have complaints about station management, and rightfully so, but I have to say at WFDU, I have always felt totally backed, and they let me do it.
Okay, we seem to be having a technical issue, Vicki.
A technical issue?
Let's see if we could go to a video. We're gonna come back because we're trying to resolve this issue. We have a video, another classic, back at the Maganette.
I want a round of applause because today is Vicki's birthday, her mother's birthday, and last week Nicolas Samoa's birthday. Happy birthday!
And my best friend Diane Gordon-Lyles in the corner there, who's the mother of my godson, October. Happy birthday, Libras. That's okay, Marie. I wish I forgot, okay? I'll tell you one thing. I'm not telling you how old I am, but I will say this. I have the right to be eccentric today, okay? But I've always had that. Now, let me see. Let me do some more acknowledgements here. I want to acknowledge my colleague, Nelson and Barry Sheffield. Right now, we're going to give you another example of why supporting the radio station is so important. The group you are about to hear, they are the most exciting new charanga out there, and they're always here to support me. I'm always here to support them. It is with pride and pleasure that I present to you Jesse Herrero and Son Sublime.
Thank you, Vicki. We are just going to do a little line check here. What's your flute here? Esto es para bailar y gozar.
Anoche te vieron en un vacío y tú te decías que ya ni sabías que estaba perdida en casa 2 días. Me quiero la clave y nada del sol. Escucha, anoche te vieron en un vacío. Te digo una cosa, no cambie la ruta, todo el mundo goza con lo que me gusta. Yo quiero la clave y no la del sol. Escucha, anoche te vieron en un vacío. Está tumbando caña, todito se sabe, a mí no me engañas. Me dieron la clave y no la del sol. Escucha,
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we are back on the air, reminiscing and remembering. I'm personally having some technical issues, which I'm trying to resolve. But Vicki, I ask that you come back with me.
Okay, I think I'm back.
There you go. There you go. And I hear you perfectly. Vicki, how is it seeing all these wonderful moments in the past?
You know, I always feel like, you know, at the end of all of this, heaven must be La Maganette, and that's where I'm going to go.
Absolutely.
With the
Absolutely.
greatest bands in the world up there in the sky. That place was, wow, the best of the best.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Vicki, so tell us how Que Viva La Música officially started.
Okay, well, once I had, you know, put all of the heavy duty salsa, which I'm a heavy duty person. You know, if it's jazz, I want the bebop and, you know, the really heavy duty stuff. Same thing with salsa and Latin jazz. I want the heavy duty stuff and I gravitate. I may not be the best dancer. I used to dance with my dog. And I gravitate to the danceable music. I respect all of it, but I started injecting, like I said, Willie Rosario, Bobby Valentin, you know, all this great music, charanga, you know, I started putting all of this into my jazz shows. Finally, plus also, okay, I was working at WBNX with Polito Vega. I started working there, I think it was October of 1982. And when I was there, they had Salsa Rengue. That's before they changed over to WKDM and fired all of us. But backtracking. So they had this music. So what did I do in my spare time? I just recorded it, and then I used it on my show at WFDU. Finally, I asked Carl Kraus, Carl, could I please make my show all Latin? And he said, you know, I think that would add spice to the station. I asked Ray, of course, Ray Barretto, if I could use Que Viva La Música for the title. And he said that he was honored that I would do that. So I had his blessing and I had Carl Kraus's blessing. And they really worked with me because I changed over right before a fundraiser. I'm embarrassed to tell you this, but I'll say it anyway. What the heck? It's okay to be embarrassed. I made $25 in that first fundraiser.
Nothing to be embarrassed about.
I built it up. I just persisted and built it up along the way. I met so many great friends who are family today. And together we all did it because, again, I'm going to invoke the words of Tony Rodriguez. We never do it alone. Tony always said that. And it is so true, so very true. Tony also said, the devil is in the details. I didn't like that saying as much.
Well, speaking of friends, we have someone that's joining us this evening, and he's going to be our first cameo. He's a musician, specifically a renowned Latin jazz and salsa pianist, arranger, composer, and band leader, and an extremely important family friend to our guest of honor, which is you, Vicki, with his beautiful wife, Clara, and his daughter, Tinita. He is credited for working with all three of the big three, known as Tito Puente, Tito Rodriguez, and Machito orchestras, as well as gaining world acclaim for his years of being the musical director of Héctor Lavoe. We'll learn more of his experiences and his special connection with you as he joins us in this moment. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Gilberto Colón Jr., known publicly as Pulpo.
Thank you, Jose. I'm honored to be included as a guest for Victoria, who, as you mentioned, to myself, my wife, and my family, she's family. I've been honored, and it's a great privilege to have been with Vicki over 27 years now. And my daughter, who just is going to be 26, used to go to the radio station as a child. I'm talking about 3 months old. Mm-hmm. And Vicki would include me in all of her fundraisers a la Maganette with Tony and his wife. And she's been special to me. And I have to say special to a lot of people. I met a lot of people through Vicki. And we're not talking about Vicki, so we're not talking about those friends. Let's keep the focus on Vicki. Vicki said she was timid, so am I. And more so during this period of my life where I find myself that I'm not caught up in insanity, I really isolate. So I'm honored that you included me, Jose. I'm honored that Vicki included me. My kudos to Greg Brown and to all of the staff at Ostros Community College. Ronnie Puente, I love you too, you know that. And to all who are going to partake in this little bit of a fanfare for Vicki, I thank everybody beforehand. Vicki, I love you.
You know, Pulpo, I'm the one who is honored. You've always been there for me, you and Clara. I remember Tabitha Tinita when she was on Clara's shoulder at the radio station.
That's correct.
3 months old, an infant. And then I remember as she got older, she would have a doll under one arm and she'd be working the CD players for us. She did a great job. And as she matured even more, she impressed me by sitting in the studio reading a gigantic book. And I was like, gee, I wish my kid would do that. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, the bottom of my spirit, for being there for me. I mean, we did at WFDU in Hackensack, you were there for me when we had the very first fundraiser. We did 8 fundraiser dances, benefits. Well, we couldn't really dance in the auditorium in Hackensack, New Jersey, but you know, you were there for me. And then at Jimmy's Bronx Cafe in 1997. And that's when Tony Rodriguez said to me, hey, why don't you do La Maganette? And so we did from 1998 through 2003. And Pulpo, you were there for me. And then you did the Atomic Underground. You did the, in East Harlem, the benefit. I'm like losing my memory here, the name of the place in East Harlem.
Well, you know what? Listen, my mind is going too. But let me just
so we can start.
Let me take you off the hook there. As Jose Calderón alluded to in the beginning, we're there for you, Vicki. And I'm no different than Jose Calderón. I'm not a co-host, obviously, but during the years,
you're in our family.
Okay,
Absolutely.
no, I'm aware. I just want to jump on Jose's tail. The same love that he has towards you and the affinity that goes towards the 4, whether it's Marisol Celdera, Louis the King, yourself, and Calderón, Jose Calderón. I feel I just don't want to. I'm lazy, Vicki, and I don't want to pay the toll to cross the bridge. I'm poor. But I would be there for you anytime you ask me to be there. Anytime my brother Willie Rodriguez would ask me, because I'm selfish. I don't know what it is to do anything with anybody as a team. I like doing things my way. And when you're altruistic and you're selfish and you're aware of it, then you don't have a problem being who you are. What it is it's easy doing it for you because the people that I cling to, like my brother Willie Alfredo Rodriguez, hope you're listening, Willie. Don't fall asleep. When I do it with him, I found that the chemistry that we both bring to you is love. Absolutely. Because we love you, we have the same purpose.
Absolutely.
Then, of course, that's why I'm jumping on Master Jose Calderón's tail, because he said it at the beginning. I don't want to fall short neither. I want to be there with you the same. I want to ride the same car as Jose.
Well, you are. And we're going to take a momentary break to highlight some of your artistry. And we'll be back with more surprise because we're going to correlate that idea that you've just mentioned into fruition. So let's go with this cut. All right. Enjoy.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, we enjoyed a moment in time with Gilberto Pulpo Colon, one of our closest friends, especially to Vicki Solá for many years. How did you guys meet, by the way?
Oh, well, you know, Vicki Solá has been on the radio stations, like she said, WBNX, co-hosting or sharing the show with Polito Vega. I was playing with Hector Lavoe, and Polito Vega was a good friend of Hector Lavoe, not mine. But because he was a good friend of Hector Lavoe and I was in Hector's band, Polito Vega would always be there and tell me, I have a show on such and such a date, and I have this beautiful blonde. He was talking about Vicki. And believe it or not, you know, I didn't know you were gonna ask me this, but I got diarrhea of the mouth. I don't have no filter. Hector liked that. Hector said, "Oh, she sounds beautiful." It prompted me to hear her on the show. And I'm married to Clara 49 years now, but it don't mean anything. You could fantasize. And I said, blonde hair, oh, this was beautiful. Well, that led to one thing. And before you know it, I met her at a situation where she wasn't the co-host, but I knew she was Vicki. I went up to her. And it didn't start the friendship, but at least it started my knowing who the person was. Because remember, most people hear Vicki, and unless they got into the radio station, which today's a lot more, well, actually, it's a lot more difficult with the pandemic, but she has the situation where she has a lot of people that co-host the show because they help contribute. Whatever the story is, we've gotten over the years more people that have access to Vicki than before. Absolutely. So, of course, that limits how many times I could be on the show, but it also allows people to know the face behind the voice. And I think that goes back 30 years or more. But my getting to her show is another story, because that's how our friendship really evolved to another level. And I gotta tell you, it was never about the friendship. It was about a person that I saw as unique, a person that I saw who had a passion, more of a passion than I had. Remember, I'm a musician, but I've always been a DJ, frustrated DJ. I like playing music, and I like being able to say, you know, ego, that I want to play this and I want to play that. And of course, it's not about that. Vicki will play music that acclimates, because what it is I'm geared towards music, salsa gorda, in your face, and Vicki allows all kind of music to stream through her show, and with no ego, with no ulterior motive, and it allows a lot more people to like that show than a show that I would run. Yeah. So, and it encompasses my taste as well. Unfortunately, I don't run the gamut. Salsa monga, salsa, I'm not into that, and that's okay. That's probably why I don't have the show. I like salsa in your face, and Vicki allowed me to do it. And she allowed me to do it in my format without having a playlist, let's say, because I'm about that. If I go to do the show and I come from wherever I come from, if I do a playlist, I'm taking away from playing music. So through Vicki, I've learned to be less selfish. Through Vicki, I've learned to tone down my rhetoric. I still curse periodically. I'm sorry. No, I don't have it down. And now I even bring my wife to the show, and my wife thinks she's the boss. Jesus Christ, man. Mira.
Well, hold that thought about love and life and marriage, because we have someone coming on and joining us this evening, coming from a lineage of greatness, ladies and gentlemen, the second eldest son of legendary Cuban artist Roberto Rodriguez, trumpet player of Ray Barretto and Orchestra Broadway, is an accomplished bass player himself. Having co-founded the orchestra Los Rodriguez in the early 80s with his older sibling, Roberto Jr., he proudly played with Luis Ramirez, Adalberto Santiago, among others, and witnessed many of the groundbreaking recordings we've cherished throughout the years. My dear friends, let me introduce our brother, William Rodriguez, affectionately known as William Bass Rodriguez. Willie?
Hiya, Jose. Thank you for that very nice, humble intro. Thank you, Vicki, for having me as also a guest speaker here. Gilberto, my brother, un fuerte abrazo. And it's wonderful. Vicki, this is long overdue. Vicki, you deserve more accolades than you can possibly imagine. I salute you. Okay. I salute you. And, you know, like Gilberto basically and Jose have captured the essence of who you are, what you've done in this industry. And you're also an unsung warrior in this industry. As far as I'm concerned, you deserve many, many more accolades. And again, my hat's off to you for what you've done, and for the musicians, for the music industry. You've brought an eclectic mix of the music. You've allowed other musicians, bands, lesser known, up and coming bands, to provide a platform for them to showcase their products. And, you know, I am so in awe of your career. And I applaud you.
Thank you, Willie. You know, again, I am honored beyond words. And it's always a privilege to have you come on to the radio station and present the music with your background. And when you and Pulpo come on together, wow, the synergy is exponential.
It's a lot of fun. And I also second one thing, and Ronnie Puente, if you're still listening, my brother, un saludo to you and your family. Ronnie captured it, you know. For him, I relate a lot to him because, again, the opening theme song, my father wrote and recorded it with Ray Barretto. So I get to hear my dad every weekend, okay? And it's very special for me, for many members of my family, to know that, you know, you are still allowing his legacy, his musical contribution in collaboration with Ray Barretto, but his actual musical legacy to live on, okay? And I don't know how many versions I've heard of Que Viva La Música. It's been done at least 8 to 9 times by different artists throughout the world. And it's a very humbling thing to know the platform my dad did and his contributions into this music. And here you are, you know, playing it every week, every weekend. And it's just, to me, very humbling, and I'm eternally grateful for that.
Oh, it's my pleasure, my honor, Willie. And, you know, I can't wait till the pandemic is over for all of us and we can go back to having our special shows live and we can plan another showdown.
Oh, definitely. Well,
showdown, yes.
Yes. Well, Gilberto is always an honor because, you know, we again, it's very unique how I think we're like really one of the first few shows that have actually had musicians actually come and actual DJ. And we even included Willie Ruiz.
Yes, that was...
He asked to join us, to join our union there. Yes. So that's awesome. It's awesome. And it's really humbling, you know, to have us all there. And what Gilberto brings to the table, Jose also brings to the table, Marisol brings to the table, you know, you guys, and even King Louie, you all have, you know, again, I think I dubbed you guys the Quad Squad. Yes. Lovingly. It was perfect. I think it's fitting. You know, but the music and the style that you bring, you know, not too many radio stations on the planet right now provide that platform, provide the quality of music, how all 4 of you, and when Gilberto and I come on, the quality, the mix, the blends, and the themes that we come on, guys like Richie Bertrand and the other guests that you have on the show, Esther Diaz, and, you know, it's just amazing. It's amazing. And we thank you for that. We thank you for that.
It's my pleasure. And I love when you guys come on and do your solo flights, as I call them, too.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure.
We're going to talk about that, but we have a video showing your artistry, Willie. So let's go to the video and we'll be right back.
Exhorto a aquellas personas que saquen la mano del bolsillo y favor de cooperar. ¿Ok? A cooperar. Y otro numerito que dice así. Es la cosa. Dice, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. ¡Ahí, mayo! Tú que envíalo, abre la puerta, mayo. Tú que envíalo, abre la puerta, mayo. Que dormida tú te encuentras cuando Tompi no recuerdas. Que dormida tú te encuentras cuando Tompi no recuerdas. Soy guajiro y no me alabo, a pesar que estoy de trago, soy jíbaro y no lo niego. Tú que envíalo, abre la puerta, mañoño. Tú que envíalo, abre la puerta, mañoño. O si hay otro por el medio, dímelo que yo me callo. O si hay otro por el medio, dímelo que yo me callo. Que estoy de trago, soy guajiro y no me alabo. Tú que envíalo, abre la puerta. óigame, que le vamos a tocar a la puerta. No le tenemos que tocar la puerta, ¿verdad? Y vamos a cantar esto conmigo que dice así. Vamos a ver. La, 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 la. Que cante. La, 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 la. Que cante mi gente. Pero que cante mi gente. Que cante mi gente. Vamos, mi gente, a cantar todo el mundo. Vaya. Que cante mi gente. Pero que cante mi gente. Que cante mi gente. Vaya. ¡Ahí! Muchas gracias. Cooperen, ¿ok?
Did you enjoy that? Those were some good old days. Good old days.
That was a great videos. That was, I think, around 1989. And that arrangement I actually did for Alberto. I thought about it, you know, on a train ride home from work. And I said, Alberto, I'm going to do a fresh arrangement of My Ñoño for me. He goes, really? Go for it. And lo and behold, you know, so, but it was great. It was great to see that video, seeing a lot of the guys and the fellas in the band. And at that time, Vicki and I already knew each other. Vicki, we met what, in the mid 80s, right? Correct?
In the mid 80s, yes.
85, 86, around there.
Yeah.
Very good.
Back we go. Yes.
Good. Well, you know what? We're going to bring out somebody else because joining us is a cameo of a cameo, your cameo, Willie. An extremely strong tie to the importance of our guest of honor this evening, a former host of Montuneando on WBAI 99.5, an active co-host of Que Viva La Música. She is known for playing new and classic Cuban music, as well as all of their iterations, and discusses important issues of the Latino community. My dearest colleague, my sister, I love with all my heart. Please welcome Marisol Cerdeira.
Hi. Wait, let me fix my hair. Look crazy. Hi, everybody.
No, you look fine. You look fine. You look beautiful. I could not exclude you from this wonderful gathering with these wonderful people that you know have an important tie with our guest of honor. I need you to say a few words dedicated to her.
Wow. Vicki, I love you. I'm so happy to see this evening take place. And I was saying in the chat that there needs to be a part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So we can hear all your wonderful stories and, you know, have more people come and share about the impact that you have had on their lives. And I don't want to take too much of the guys' time. So I just have a quote that I think is going to encompass who you are for all of us, Vicki. It's by the Dalai Lama. And it goes like this. Just as ripples spread out when a single pebble is dropped into water, the actions of individuals can have far-reaching effects. That's you, Vicki. And we love you.
I love you, Marisol. I love you so much. And you just move me. I have goosebumps. Thank you so much. And thank you for being a part of my life. And wow, it's like, sometimes it's hard to find the words because you're taking them from such a deep, deep place from the heart and the spirit. But I love you so much. I'm so proud of you and of all your accomplishments. And I'm so glad that I'm blessed to have you on my team and in my life. Thank you.
Thank you, Vicki. And I think I speak on behalf of Jose, Louis, so many of us that are on the air that we wouldn't be where we are or were without you. Like, you opened the doors, not just for musicians, but those of us who have a love for the music and a love for radio, for DJs. So many people have gotten into their industry or their field because of you and because the kind of person that you are, that you have taken you've made these acts without wanting anything in return. So you have a lot to be proud of, Vicki. We're proud of you.
Thank you so much, my dear Marisol. And I want to say here too that with this pandemic, Que Viva La Música is on the air, bringing great music and great feeling to everybody and making such a difference in people's lives, especially when we need it now, during times that most of us have never experienced. And if it wasn't for you, for Jose and King Louis, you guys are the ones who are keeping us on the air. And I want everybody to know that. And I thank you so very much, so much that it's hard to even convey. Thank you.
Well, you know, now that we are all here together, and you're not going anywhere, Marisol, where do you see the radio going? Do you see the youth being participant to what's happening with the movement of our music on the radio? Let's be honest. Let's bare our souls at this moment, and we could start with you, Vicki, and everybody else join in, please.
Okay, well, you know, we have. It's a challenge. It's a real challenge because as much as we try, so much of our youth is not into the music that we grew up with and that we love so much. Yet there are many young people who are playing the music as well. So we just have to keep exposing people to the music. I remember Jimmy Bosch, I think, told me when he was in high school, he did a term paper on the Beatles. It's okay to like different kinds of music, but, you know, people come around to this music and maybe they start exploring it on some level, what's popular now. Then they decide, those who are serious, to go and explore the roots of the music. And I think we're still doing that. We're still learning. Things are different. I really don't know the answer. All I can say is let's keep playing the music. Let's keep promoting it. Unfortunately, you know, we know the radio situation in commercial radio. I think that's a factor. It's just not being heard on a wide enough basis. So we just have to try to keep doing what we're doing and keep up the faith, encourage people to attend live performances, which we hope will come back. I mean, right now, this is, if it was difficult for our musicians before, it is just exponentially so right now. So we encourage people to keep up with musicians on Zoom, online, and with presentations like this.
Absolutely, absolutely. Gilberto?
Well, you know, I'm a Beatle fan. The bottom line, I am a Beatle fan still. And before I got into Latin music, that's what I was doing in 63 and 64. It took a while. However, I did come around and I'm still getting into it now. So I, by no means do I have it down packed. And I will relate this, that we were having a little conversation about that during Nana and Willie's wedding. And we covered a lot more ground because we're saying who's going to continue with the torch. You know, it happens. What happens is, just like you just said, and then I said, Vicki has afforded many of us the opportunity to get to the radio station and share what our taste is. Someone is going to be bitten by that bug. And Vicki allows that. Vicki allows it. There's going to be a new person to follow to help us. So there's never going to be a need or an emptiness of someone not doing it. The generation that's going to embrace this music might not readily dominate el español, but the music is what's going to keep it going.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
This is true. I have to say, too, I do have all the Beatles albums. I love the Beatles, too.
I'm a Beatle fan.
I have to tell a story. I'm going to tell a story on myself. I used to be embarrassed by it, but back when I was a kid, I was in Ray Barretto's basement. I remember I recorded his iconic album, The Message, on his own stereo equipment. And one, you know, Yusef Lateef, all these great artists would come through his living room. And I was a teenager. I got to see them and listen to them. One day, Pete Bonet, who you recently featured here, Pete Bonet was in Ray's basement sitting on the couch there. And I was a teenager. I started telling Pete Bonet how great Santana was. I had to tell that story on myself.
Vicki, it's just a second what you said earlier. Gilberto said, I grew up in the 70s. I'm a few years younger than Gilberto, okay? But I grew up in the 70s and I grew up in the top 40. It was AM radio, WABC AM radio. And they all played top 40. You heard either Marvin Gaye, you heard the Eagles, You heard Earth, Wind, and Fire when they first came out, Kool and the Gang. And at that time, my dad was involved. He took us to a few concerts with Ray Barretto when they were playing outdoors, like Palisades Amusement Park, Coney Island. He took the family to go see it. And yeah, we were like, whatever. And I was also already at the age of 9 learning to play guitar. So I wanted to emulate all the musicians I used to see on TV. There was a TV show called Don Kirshner's Rock Concert. So I used to watch that and watch all the guitar players and the rock bands and Edgar Winter. I was into all of that genre at the time because it was guitar related. And sooner or later, the first time I got into Latin music was when Our Latin Thing came out. And my influence is not just about but just to reiterate what Gilberto said, when I saw Bobby Valentin take the bass solo and get Cagafaña, I said, what? And then I started playing the bass lines on the lower notes in the guitar until I finally got a bass similar to his. I had a Hofner, same type, ES335 model. And I started to learn to play bass. And then eventually I little by little would play the Barretto albums and try to play it by ear until I went to music school, the Jazzmobile. But my real punch in the face was when my dad took me to the Guarare recording. I was 14 years old.
Oh my God.
So to be exposed to that hardcore music then, and when Ray counted, and the first tune that they recorded while we were there, one of the first sessions was Vale Más Que Un Guaguancó. I was, what? Sitting in that room in La Tierra Studios, which was known as Good Vibrations, where Gil recorded the wonderful piano solo, the bandolera, the iconic piano solo that he took.
That was not me, that was my representative.
To make a long story short, I was hooked. I wanted to hear everything that was going on, anything Latin music. My brother and I collected albums and we started playing the albums, and now I started listening to the music and getting more involved. And, and then we started playing with bands, as in the mid upper 70s in the barrio before we started Los Rodriguez. So we were playing with barrio bands, okay? And when we started Los Rodriguez, the lead singer in the band was Johnny Rivera, who's in Puerto Rico now. So that just to sum it all up. Sooner or later, I feel after the next generation, because the generation that's carrying the torch is Jose, Marisol, and Louis, King Louis. But I feel sooner or later, there's going to be that 30-something-year-old that's going to pop in and is going to maybe one day come by and going to go, oh my God, how do I get into this? I want to get this. I want to learn. What album is that? What's this? And hopefully, God willing, with the powers that be, there might be 2 or 3 DJs that are really going to capture the music that we play, that you've played, that all of you play, and continue that legacy and continue it so it doesn't die, okay? I honestly have hope that eventually, sooner or later, there's going to be 1 or 2 that are really going to get into radio, see how you folks are doing it, and really start understanding, really study the music to understand, so they're playing and can continue to play, okay, the newer products that are coming out, but also not forget the traditions, the machitos, the Ray Barrettos, the Willie Colon, early Larry Harlow, and Joe Cuba. That doesn't die. And honestly, there's too much. The music is too rich for it to just die.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely.
I totally agree.
We've had a good time, and things are coming to an end. You know that, right? We extended ourselves. Yes.
I just have to say, Willie, go on your Willie. Being married really helps.
You had to put it there. You had to stick that in. No, but guys, I am so grateful. I am so grateful to all of you for taking out the time.
Thank you.
And dedicating this moment to our Vicki Solá. And I cannot end this session without each of you wrapping it up with words from the heart. So I'm going to start with you, Gilberto Pulpo Colon.
Oh, Vicki, I met Mom, I met your stepdad, Frankster, before he was born. I love you, Victoria. I'm going to leave it there because I got diarrhea of the mouth, and before long, I'm going to screw it up.
I love you. I love Clara. The first time I ever spoke with Clara, I felt like I knew her forever. She is my beautiful sister, Tabitha, and Gil the Third, and your puppies too. I love doggies.
Thank you, Victoria. I love you.
Thank you for being in my life.
Thank you for having me today. Thank you.
Willie?
Well, Vicki, mi hermanita, what else can I say? I always refer to her lovingly, respectfully as my sister. Y mil bendiciones. Just continue taking care of yourself. You're in a new positive place now. wish you the best of luck. May God bless you so you can continue your legacy. Hay Vicki Solá para largo, okay? And you're surrounded with your nieces and nephews.
Yeah.
Her children.
Your children, you
We
know?
always joke, Willie, that Marisol and Jose are my two children that didn't give me stretch marks.
May you continue, may your legacy continue to live on. May you continue to inspire people. And one last thing, Jose, I don't want to take too much more time, but one thing I need to say, music heals the soul. And this has been a very tough year for all of us in many ways and many others, your listening audience. And it's great to just on Saturdays at 1 o'clock, put that internet on, put your radio on and listen to the product. And not for nothing, but Marisol did a wonderful show this past weekend, the Love and Marriage Show. If you folks haven't tuned in, you can get it on the podcast, correct?
Yes.
You folks need to listen to that show. It is going to, whoever hasn't heard that show, I strongly urge and implore that you listen to that show. It's going to put a smile on your face. You're going to go, oh my God, it's going to take you back. What great songs did she select? And my hat's off to you.
Thank you, thank you.
Now your turn.
It spells married.
Well, Vicki, gosh, I could say so much. We've learned so much from you, being with you. I'm speaking on behalf of Jose, myself, King Louis, Joe Manazzi. I mean, so many of us that have been at WFDU. And one of the things we've learned and we brought also of our own doing was playing the music, right? But you've also taught us about passing it on. And that's, I think, to answer Jose's previous question, it's important for us to pass it on. And you've really driven that home. You've always made it about the music and the musicians. And you've been doing it, I want to argue, longer than most people that have done this. You've been doing it consistently. So just so much goodness has come out of you. I love you. I respect you. I look forward to many more years together in good health. I love you, Vicki.
I love you, Marisol. Again, I'm so blessed to have you in my life. And again, I'm so proud of you.
Vicki, and please close it out.
Okay, well, Jose, you know I love you. I'm so proud of you. I've watched you grow as well. Thank you for this opportunity. I am beyond honored. It's a good thing to feel validated. And, you know, it's almost hard for me. I'm a writer, but it's almost hard for me to find the right words to put, you know, to describe how I feel about this entire evening. But thank you so much. I thank everybody for being here, expressing their love. And, you know, I'll close it out by saying what Tony says. Tony Rodriguez always said, we never do it alone. And that's how I continue to feel. We never do it alone. Together, we're stronger. And I said that before. Other people said that.
Well, I want to thank Osto Center for the Arts and Culture for this third opportunity. First with Joe Conzo, second with Pete Bonet, and now with Vicki Solá. Thank you all for tuning in, taking the time to set your clocks to sit down and chat with us. And we're going to end it with the Christmas spirit, obviously. A little surprise that Marisol had for Vicki in the station, bringing a little Puerto Rico into her life, and hopefully it'll bring it to yours. Take care, everyone. Have a safe holiday season and have a happy new year. Take care.
Jose.
Thank you.
Something special here.
Yes.
For Vicki.
For
We're waiting
Vicki,
for it.
yes.
We're waiting for it.
So we have a special mix, and because Vicki hasn't made it yet to Puerto Rico, we decided to bring Puerto Rico to you, and just let you know how much we love you.
And also dedicated to Howie Turner on his return. Adelante.
Epa.